And welcome to another episode of Russia Up Close. I'm Joe.
And I'm Eddie.
Well, we got a lot of news to talk about. We have the discussions of the continuing peace negotiations.
The continuing saga, yes.
It's going to be done tomorrow, I'm sure, once Zelensky reads the peace agreement, I think.
We hope.
Yeah, maybe next week.
Maybe next week, yeah. We don't know because, what was it, last week? We had Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner here in Moscow discussing with President Putin details about this. They flew back to Washington. We still don't know the details.
They got sent packing, I think you'd say.
They got sent packing, according to CNN, after a 5-hour meeting.
Yeah.
However, after they were sent packing with a 5-hour meeting, no details have been released from the White House, nor comments from President Trump, except President Trump mentioned that he doesn't think Zelensky has even read the meeting notes.
Yeah.
So,
well, he was busy meeting with Pope Leo in Rome and Meloni there as well. Seemed like it was a more important thing to do at the time than to actually get down to brass tacks.
I see.
Apparently. But it's peace by midterms? I mean, Christmas? Let's hope so.
Let's see. First it was 24 hours. Then it was 100 days. Then it was 6 months. And now, hopefully, by Christmas or midterms.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So we'll find out.
Yeah. It's definitely in the ongoing saga. Trump still needs, I don't know if you could call it a quick win anymore, but he needs a win.
He needs a win.
Yeah.
He needs a win before midterms, certainly.
Yeah, so ball's in his court, and now he's pushed that off to Zelensky's court. Zelensky is also saying that he's totally ready for elections. I don't know if he's been reading polling numbers.
Very, very good point, because that is something that President Trump just made a comment about the other day, that it's time for Ukraine to have elections. He thinks it's time for that. And then we just read that Zelensky says he kind of agrees with that.
Yeah, so let's get it on.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Bring it.
Well, speaking of other pirates, there is a famous quote that my dad actually used to quote, which was, "I'd rather be a pirate than join the Navy." I think he meant it in a slightly different way than how Pete Hegseth is actually trying that out.
Well, the Department of War seems to be quite busy these days.
Just a little bit.
And, so Venezuela.
Yeah.
So we have news now that the United States Navy has pirated. I'm sorry. They use the term seized a sanctioned Venezuelan tanker that was used to move oil and maybe some other products that are sanctioned. And, this is very, very interesting because just last week, the United States released the new National Security Strategy document. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't read it, you need to read it.
It's worth
It's worth it. It's worth it. But it's very significant from previous documents because it pivots America's foreign strategy or the strategic strategy. Strategic strategy?
The strategic strategy.
Let me start over. National security strategy away from Europe, away from the Middle East, and significantly away from Russia because it does not mention Russia as a threat to the United States. But can you tell me, sir, who does it mention is a threat to the United States?
Antarctica.
Well, yes, in the general direction because it's south of the United States. So the new threat to the United States, according to this new document, is Central and South America. And you can see this in the recent actions of the Department of War seizing this tanker from Venezuela. This is a page right out of that document. So if you haven't read the document, or maybe we might talk about this I'll tell you what, maybe upcoming.
That sounds like a good
someday.
idea. I was watching this morning, this guy, Patrick Byrne, was on Alex Jones' show talking about this war with Venezuela that we absolutely must go on is the most significant war since the Civil War. I had this guy over to my house, and a couple of months ago, when he was visiting here in Russia, he definitely sounded like a bit of a kook then, and he sounds even more so now. I mean, I think we're going downhill pretty fast. Since the Civil War, folks,
wow.
That's how significant this battle is. And absolutely, we must go to war with these people. This is necessary because there are bad dudes down there. We don't have any of those in the United States. We got to go fight them somewhere else.
Well, it definitely sounds like Patrick Byrne has read the new national security strategy.
He's on board, by the way, and he's telling the truth this time. Saying. So now that he's outed himself as a CIA asset, now we should take that. Anyways, The good news is that I'm sure there's going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean Part 9. Johnny Depp will be starring, and it's going to be on Warner Brothers or on Netflix, actually, now that I think Netflix has sealed the deal with
Netflix, yes.
Warner Brothers.
With Warner Brothers, which also gives them access to, is it the HBO catalog as well?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Talk about monopolies.
Talk about monopolies and talk about woke monopolies.
Oh, gosh. Everybody thought it was all over, that we're going to stop having, multicultural Lord of the Rings series and all that good stuff. Oh, that's Amazon. But anyways, bring more coming to you just as we close this Trump presidency out here in the next couple of years. So get ready. It's game back on. So enjoy the show, as they say. Go back to the movies.
Yeah, go back to the movies, and I got nothing on that.
I don't even know how to go to this next piece, so I'm just going to hard cut to good things, and more good things are coming out of Russia. There's more multipolar conversations that are happening right now, and Putin was down signing with Modi to create pharmaceutical independence in Russia.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a huge deal as Russia has taken steps to develop its own internal pharmaceutical production so that it doesn't rely on Western pharmaceutical companies and can now depend on its own internal production. So this is a huge deal. And do we know what India gets out of this?
I'm sure they get a lot of things out of this, including and not limited to the fact that India is ever growing as a manufacturing hub, competing in the China space
Correct.
for manufacturing, even in the pharmaceuticals. I will have to say that I know a lot of people during the what is there an official terminology? We're talking about pandemic or whatever it is. There was a certain horse dewormer that India was cranking out like nobody's business, and this is what people learned to depend on. And this is still today the cheapest place where you can get this particular drug. I think those of you who are switched on know which one I'm talking about. So this is what India is bringing to the table just in the pharmaceutical industry. And I got to say, you know, it's increasingly looking like the tired old line of Russia doesn't have any friends is just a little yesterday's news.
It's getting long in the tooth, as they say.
Long in the tooth.
It really is.
We have some great interviews coming at you during this show. Another episode of I'll Tell You What. Let's get right to it. So let's start with our first guest, Tofurious Crane. Tofurious is an American journalist. He has been traveling all throughout Russia. He's seen some incredible places throughout Russia. He does a tremendously insightful and personal reviews of various places all over the country. He's also the host of the travel documentary, Curious Tofurious, on RT Docs. You should definitely check him out. With no further ado, Tofurious Crane. Tofurious, welcome to the show. Great to have you on, man.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Dude, you've been traveling
Yes.
a lot. I think we talked about this. You were listing off so many places before the show. We were like, okay, we're just going to talk about like general directions,
Right.
like northeast, west, south. Where have you been, sir?
North, south, and east.
And east.
Yes.
Tell us about the east. You went to Vladivostok?
Yeah, we went to the Kuril Islands, Vladivostok, and Kamchatka.
Okay. You see any crabs there?
And well, let me tell you, it was interesting. In Vladivostok, the water's so clear, like 10 feet down, that you could see the, what are they called? The little sea pickles.
Oh, wow.
And you could see the starfish and everything. It was
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
It was
Did you
beautiful
go, like,
there.
scuba diving or
No,
anything?
I just jumped off of a jet ski right into the water.
Oh, okay. Straight in.
The Russian I was with didn't know I could swim, though.
Oh,
So
really?
I took off my life vest, and I just, because I was on the Sea-Doo with him,
Yeah.
and I just flipped myself backwards, and he thought I fell off. But I wanted to go swimming. And he like, zips around, and he's like, Bayakali Devai, like, come to me. And I'm like swimming under the water, just chilling.
He's like, we just lost a national treasure.
They're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I'm weary of people I meet that I don't know, and they're like, "Come with me. Let's go on an adventure." And I didn't know this guy, and he's like, "Today we go on Sea-Doo," and I'm like, "Who is he? Is he going to kill me?" Like,
That is actually really true about Russia, right? Somebody
Yeah.
could literally just say, hey, we're going over here. We're going this way.
And I'm dumb, bro. Like, when I went to Belarus, for instance, this was non-work related. Well, it was, for a different venture. And this guy at the airport's like, "Come with me. I will give you a ride." And I called people that I was going to be meeting.
Yeah.
They were like, "Don't get in the car with him." And I was like, "No, it's okay." And I got in the car
Where did you end up?
at the hotel.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
What did you think about Belarus? We don't get a lot of stuff in the news about Belarus.
Belarus is beautiful. If I had to leave Russia, I used to always say I would go to Serbia, but now I think it would be Belarus.
Okay.
Yeah,
What happened to Ossetia, man?
Well, no, that's part of Russia. So if I had to leave Russia,
I see. Okay,
so I
that
would
makes
go to
sense.
Belarus because it reminds you of Russia, but cleaner.
Yeah? Cleaner than Russia?
Yeah,
Dude.
I know. That's
Like
what
half of your videos are about how clean it is here.
I
and it's
walked
cleaner?
around the entire capital of Belarus, and I was like, "This is crazy how clean it is.
How are the potatoes?
Delicious.
Yeah?
Yeah, amazing. And the people are just as nice as Russians. I left my telephone by accident in Macbai.
Yeah?
which is like their Russian version, or I'm sorry, American version of McDonald's.
Okay.
And when I left, the people chased after me, and I was like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And they found me and gave me my phone.
Wow.
And it was crazy because as I was getting chased by them, I started to panic, like, oh, I dropped my phone, and I'm looking everywhere, and then they're like, ah, yeah. So really good people.
Tofurious, tell us, who are you? Where the heck did you come from?
Oh, well, my mom back in 1977. No.
There was this one day.
I mean, I was born in 78, but, 9 months prior. No. No, I'm an American. Worked in the medical field for 20 years,
Okay.
a little more than 20 years.
Okay.
Worked in laboratories, audiology,
Okay.
back in the United States, and hospitals for health clinics and things like this.
Okay.
During the pandemic, I became an independent journalist just
Okay.
because I was bored. I was just
Yeah.
kind of chilling at home. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't get back into my field that I had my education in. And so I just started doing like guerrilla journalism.
Guerrilla journalism.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, oh, this looks like an interesting riot. I'm going to drive there and get involved. Not in the riot, but like
Okay.
just film the people going,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And
Apparently, that's a really wrong thing to do. You're not allowed to do this kind of stuff.
No.
the States.
Well, I mean, I was okay till January 6th, of course. But
Yeah.
I was a journalist in the United States and independent journalist for years since pandemic until I moved here 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I came here as a journalist because I kept telling people back in the United States when I had a massive following, what's happening, here. And they said, no, you're wrong. I said, I'll just go and show you. So I came into Russia to go to the SMO to record what's happening. As I thought, exactly what I was saying back in the United States was happening. I wasn't biased. I said, maybe it is happening.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to come here. And then when I saw what was happening, I said, I don't think I'm going to go back to the United States. So I stayed. I've been doing journalism here, vlogging, and now I have my own TV show, travel show called Curious Tofurious.
Curious to
Where I
Furious.
travel Russia.
Curious George got nothing on you, man.
Experiencing new cultures, diversity, and amazing people, and food. Joe's Diner?
Joe's Diner? No.
Or no, Papa's Diner.
Papa's Diner.
Nikolovskaya?
No.
Papa's Diner on Nikolovskaya near Red Square.
Yeah.
They have the best chips, tortilla chips.
Yes?
Loaded. Meat, cheese, everything.
We're going there after this.
Jalapenos. Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
When I
wow.
had those, I was like, it reminded me of home.
Okay.
Really.
Well, now that you're back for a little while, hopefully you're back for a little while.
A couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go get some
Yeah,
nachos.
yeah.
Need
Let's
some
meet up.
nachos. Yeah, that would be good.
Hello, welcome. We're sponsoring different restaurants around Moscow.
Absolutely. This is unpaid advertising.
Use my code to get 10% off. I don't have a code, so sorry about that.
Just so Tofu's face.
This guy's like, you get 10% off the nachos. They know me there. They'll be like, okay.
Okay, fine. That's awesome. Okay, so you hit the eastern seaboard.
Yeah.
Let's start going west. What have you hit
Let's
west?
see. We went Ossetia, Dagestan, Krasnodar, Sochi. What's the name of the one that sounds really fancy?
Napa.
Napa.
Napa. That was very
Yeah,
nice.
and so what's that one that sounds real fancy? It is a fancy place.
At least the
Napa?
people from Napa are gonna like it. The Kamchakis are gonna have a heyday with you.
No,
Napa's gonna be
Kamchatka, I
happy.
love them. No, you didn't ask me about the people of Kamchatka, though.
That's fair enough.
I met the most amazing people there.
Really?
They were so sweet.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, the best. Yeah. And
Better,
the
better than the
people-
South.
Comparable.
Comparable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all Russians are great.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
We all know that even back in the States, Chicago people are different than New York people.
Yeah, but
What was different about the Kamchakis?
who wants to go to Chicago or New York?
I mean, I know how to make deep dish pizza, so
Okay,
I'm
fair.
fine.
If you want, keep going. Are you hungry?
I am starving.
Okay, all right. This guy keeps talking about food.
No,
You're
but the
making
food
me
here is
hungry,
great,
and I
but
just
I
ate.
can make it. Is the
Okay,
point.
okay.
Yeah.
No, the people in Kamchatka are like, I think they're all comparable because no matter where I go in Russia, people are always like, take this.
Ah, yes.
And I'm like, that will not fit in my suitcase. Take this bear skin with you back in its, take this.
No, take the whole
take
bear.
This statue, this wooden statue I made me. And I'm like, I don't know how I could get that back home.
That's so generous.
Dagestan was the same, but it was tea.
Ah.
I came home with a suitcase full of tea. I threw away stuff in Dagestan. So I was like, buy more luggage or just throw away some stuff. So I just threw away a couple of things.
You've also been to the Urals?
Yeah.
Where in the Urals?
I don't know.
Magnitogorsk.
Many places.
Really?
Wait, yeah, but I can never remember the name
Who
of all.
takes you to these places, dude? You like tell me, I went to
listen.
this great place. You didn't even know how to get here, dude.
I remember like the name of the major cities. I was sitting here thinking to myself, where are the places I went to in Dagestan? I don't even remember. I know I was in the capital in Derbent, but really I went all around to all these different towns.
Yeah.
It's so much
Yeah.
that I just can't remember it. And
Wow.
you're working like 11 to 16 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
You're exhausted. So
Yeah.
Magnitogorsk, I definitely remember because I thought to myself, wow, I could live here.
Mm-hmm.
It was like at that time, the second place in Russia where I was just like, wow, this is so cool. I could live here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to, I don't know, different places in the Urals. And
Yeah.
we went on a Splav trip. It's where you go out on a raft and you go out floating down the river.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was hot. Like
Yeah.
people are like, Russia's always so cold. I got in that water. I was swimming. Everybody got sunburnt. They were all
my.
They were all young kids, like in their 20s, and I kept saying SPF because that's all they could understand.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like, "Нет, спасибо," and I'm just like all day, just rubbing SPF all over my body. SPF, and I got this big giant bottle
Yeah.
because I knew these kids are irresponsible. They're
Yeah.
probably not going to bring SPF.
Yeah.
And no thank you, no thank you, all day, no thank you. At the end of the day, they all look like lobsters.
Russian lobsters.
The next day, they got up and they were just so burnt.
Oh,
Man.
no. Oh, my gosh.
It was a lot of fun. And
Wow.
on this trip, we had with the Splav trip, a professionally trained chef from France. He was Russian, but his training was in France.
Oh, interesting.
And that was really interesting because it was like we were camping in tents.
Michelin
It's
camping.
it's like 0 Celsius.
Yeah.
I can see my breath. My phone batteries are dead. My battery chargers are dead because the cold just zaps everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I gonna survive the night? Like, and then the next day you're like, oh, it's so hot. When's night happening? You know?
Right.
Yeah. But there were so many mosquitoes there.
Oh, my gosh.
But thankfully they're nice mosquitoes.
Nice mosquitoes.
Yeah, they just kind of fly in your eyes, and your mouth, your ears, but they don't bite. Right.
So you came down, and you mentioned this, that you went to go see the conflict in the Donbass.
Yes.
In this whole area. Mm-hmm. You had some crazy stories from down there as well.
Yeah.
You were videoing down there. I've seen you all suited up and all that.
Yeah.
And checking the place out. Like, what's it like down there?
Donetsk is, just like any city really in Russia.
Yeah.
Except for there's sandbags everywhere, windows blown out, people dying in the streets, and there's a lot of horror stories in that area from the things that the Ukrainians have done to them.
Yeah.
And I got to go there. My goal when I moved to Russia was to go there and to tell people back in the United States what's happening.
Right.
And so when I started interviewing people, there was nobody there coercing me like, ask this question, ask that question. I literally just took my interpreter with me and I was like, ask them this. And then they were translating back and forth. And I knew it was the correct translation because he would stop and go, and then translate, and then he would stop and go, well, let me ask again. And then yes. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And there was other people there that could speak English too. So the translations weren't just manipulated translations back to me. So I knew it was true what these people were saying, and they were telling me like, yeah, my daughter was playing and, a mortar fell in the park and now she's dead. And that first day we were in Donetsk, we came under shelling and we were just eating eating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were in a restaurant eating. I know I've told you this story before. And I remember my cameraman, Misha at the time, first documentary with Misha and Olga. I remember he grabbed my belt, and I'm still eating my soup. and he grabs my belt, and everybody, I mean, I hear, it was just not real to me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I hear this, boom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not registering.
Yeah.
Like, my brain's protecting me, like, just eat your soup.
Yeah.
Just eat your soup. Everything's okay.
No sudden movements.
Yeah. Then I hear, and then I feel Misha pulling on my belt, and he's laying on the ground, and I'm like sitting in the seat, and he's trying to pull me out of my seat.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Misha, I love him to death, but he's he's not as big as me.
Yeah,
he's a skinny
exactly.
guy.
Yeah.
So he's
Pulling on Paul
and I'm
Bunyan's
just
belt.
like a little get off me. What's happening? Finally, I laid down on the floor and I started recording. We're in Donetsk right now. I'm an American, and they're shelling us, and we're in a restaurant.
Oh my god.
There's no military bases.
Oh my gosh.
There's no military personnel. There's no military objects. So why the hell was Ukraine bombing the center of Donetsk? Of course, it's a good old NATO and American scare tactics, demoralize the local population, and they'll turn against Russia. Well, that isn't the case. This isn't. Russian people aren't like the people in the rest of the world. You can't demoralize them. You just piss them off.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
That was like, leave. No.
Yeah, and they're
now
like,
I'm really going to
we're
say.
going to fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the rest of the day, everywhere we went, there was just shells falling everywhere.
Wow.
Parks.
Wow.
I think you may have seen a video where I recorded a park got struck.
Yes.
Children's park by a mortar. So then I went back several occasions. We went to Mariupol when it was, liberated. And I remember the smell was just awful. It was so terrible. I think that the moral of what I'm trying to say is that a lot of Americans are very worried about what's happening here. And they should be, but they should be educated and why it's happening and stop buying this narrative from the West that it's Russia's fault, because it's not. Russia's taking care of its people. These are people from Russia now. This is new Russian territory.
It's so funny, right, to be in the middle where Westerners will be like, he doesn't mean it. Somebody paid him to say that. And then the Russians turn around on you and you're like, who paid you to say that? You're like, what?
What are you talking about?
So, wait, you think... it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well,
doesn't make any sense.
I did buy a Bentley last week, though.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
well done, sir.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Can you get me one?
After, if you become a paid propagandist like me,
absolutely,
you can have a yacht like me.
Dude, you haven't even invited me.
Well,
That's not
it's
cool.
in the Maldives. We can head out right after this on my private jet.
Fantastic. Eat some barely tacos on the jet, man.
Yes. Vladimir Putin and I meet about once a week, and he exchanges, the suitcase. And then I give him the thumb drive of paid propaganda.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a good deal. I need to get on that program.
I know there's so many people who actually believe this, though.
Make sure to check out Curious Tofurious on RT.
DOC.TV. Yeah.
TV.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Amen. Tofurious, thank you so very much for coming on to the show, man. It's great.
Man.
We'll look forward to seeing you again. Maybe we'll be able to stick something in for the Christmas season at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe Santa Claus will come visit.
We'll talk about it.
All right.
All righty. See you next time. I really hope you enjoyed this interview with Tofurious. You can find his documentaries on RT Docs. These are just a few of the stories and accounts of the kinds of reviews and things that he has seen throughout Russia, both in conflict and in peace. It's a tremendously interesting story. Russians here know him, meet him on the street every single day. I've been with him many, many times where he's just recognized constantly throughout the streets because Russians absolutely love his genuine commentary on what's going on here. And you should too. And now for everybody's favorite segment, I'll Tell You What with Eddie Gonzalez.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can always measure the health of a society by how it treats the people who disagree with it. Not the people who go along, and not the people who nod their heads, but the folks who step out of line and say, hold on, something doesn't add up here. And right now in America, there's two voices taking the heat again, and that's Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. And the reaction is quite revealing. You've got mainstream media outlets, conservative podcasters, and even the White House all lining up to say they're dangerous, misleading, radical, extremist. Candace isn't just getting attacked for questioning the official narrative around the attempted assassination of Charlie Kirk. She's also under fire for daring to bring uncomfortable questions into public view, including raising the long-whispered rumors about the sex of Brigitte Macron, the French First Lady. And Tucker, yeah, he's guilty of the same crime of asking questions the establishment doesn't want on the table. Suddenly, supporting Candace Owens is enough to get you labeled an enemy. And I've heard that language before. Not too long ago, when I refused the COVID vaccine, people told me the same thing. If you don't comply, you're endangering society. You're the problem. You're the enemy. Funny how that word keeps coming back, huh? Enemy? Anytime the establishment feels uncomfortable. Candace posted something sharp the other day. She said, Candace 19 is spreading. To stay safe, trust the $1 billion influencer campaign and trust the feds. Don't go max, get the vax. It's satire, without a doubt, but she nailed the point. The second you question power, you become a public health threat, a social threat, a political threat. Not because you're wrong, but because you're independent. That's the real illness they're trying to contain. And the pattern is always the same. Dissident voices get slapped with the same tired labels: extremist, propagandist, opportunist, anti-Semite, foreign agent, radical grifter, danger to democracy. And I know this playbook personally. Ever since I moved to Russia, an American, a Texan, living in Moscow, talking openly about what I see with my own eyes, countering Western narratives with basic, good old common sense. I've been called everything from a Russian propagandist to a Putin stooge to a mouthpiece for the Kremlin. Not because I'm speaking anything, not because I'm reading scripts from some smoky back room, but because I refuse to repeat the script handed down by American media. You see, you challenge the narrative, and they challenge your identity. You don't toe the line, and suddenly you're working for the enemy. And here's the part people really need to pay attention to. This isn't just an American problem. Look at what's going on in the UK, the birthplace of so-called Western liberalism. They are now arresting citizens for social media posts. A tweet, a meme, jokes, opinions. Police actually show up at your door because someone felt, quote unquote, offended. Because a post may cause someone distress, emotional distress. Because you expressed the wrong view about the wrong topic on the wrong day. Now imagine that. In a country that claims to be the beacon of democracy, you can be handcuffed for a Facebook post. Not violence, not threats, just speech. And the same people lecturing the world about freedom and open societies are the ones running this show. It's not about protecting the public. It's about protecting the narrative. They use every tool they can: social shaming, deplatforming, demonetization, even criminal penalties to turn dissenters into examples. And if you think it stops with Candace or Tucker or some guy in Britain who posted a meme, you're missing the pattern. See, they use every word except the honest one: dissenter. A person who challenges what they've been told. A person who thinks for themselves. And you think in a country built on open debate, dissent would be encouraged. You think a mature society, one that claims to value democracy, would be able to handle a variety of opinions without panicking. But instead, every time a story gets uncomfortable, we get the same sermon. Trust the officials, trust the experts, trust the institutions. Oh man, trust the feds. We're all in this together. Well, we're all in this together until someone asks a question. Then suddenly, we're not all in this together anymore. Then it's get in line or you're against us. You're either with us or you're against us. It's remarkable how quickly a free society can slide into moral panic. And now the message is, if you stand with Candace Owens, you're the enemy. If you listen to Tucker Carlson, you're the threat. Imagine them saying, if you listen to Eddie Gonzalez on I'll Tell You What, yeah, you're the enemy. But if you hesitate before accepting the official explanation, you're dangerous. Meanwhile, the official explanation this time around sounds like a rewrite of the old playbook. You remember a lone shooter on a road with a magic bullet? Yeah, we've heard that one before. But here's the larger point. A society that labels every dissenter an extremist is a society losing faith in its own institutions. If the truth is solid, it doesn't need protection. If the narrative is honest, it doesn't need enemies. And if democracy is real, you don't silence the critics. You answer them. I'll tell you what, you can disagree with Candace Owens. You can disagree with Tucker. You can disagree with me. That's the whole point of a free society. But when disagreement itself becomes suspicious, that's when you know something deeper is broken. Because the moment a government, a media ecosystem, or a political movement starts telling you who your enemies are for simply thinking differently, that's the moment you should start paying very close attention. I'm Eddie, your dissenter in chief, and this is I'll Tell You What.
As always, thank you again, Eddie, for another great episode of I'll Tell You What. And now for our next guest, Ilya Belobragin, managing partner and co-founder of MoveToRussia.com. He's an extraordinary individual with a tremendous wealth of knowledge on these topics, very interesting insights. I now introduce you to Ilya Belobragin. And we are here with our guest, Ilya Belobragin. Ilya, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Joseph, thank you so much for having me.
You are the managing partner of MoveToRussia.com.
That's right.
And what does MoveToRussia.com do?
Well, we enable the move of people, capital, and even things all the way from the west to the east. And that's a very popular, I would say, road that's getting even more popular with every day. We are a private company, and we enable this sometimes hard journey to be without any issues, with a 100% success rate.
100% success rate.
Yes.
That is impressive. That is impressive.
Our two guiding stars is 100% success rate and 10 out of 10 stars customer reviews.
That's fantastic.
Well, that's what you should do as a private business.
Absolutely. This is what we should all strive for. Sir, we have a very interesting conversation today, which we just discussed about what we would talk about. Main focus, or the beginning focus anyway, we will discuss about money. And you know what they say, whenever you're trying to find a solution or understand a situation, you should always follow the money.
True.
And you are doing this for many people in the West. And I want to think about this, and I want to introduce our viewers to this perspective from a global view.
Yes.
Of where people are going, where the migrations are happening. I think many people are aware that there is kind of this new great migration movement. It doesn't always have to do with Russia necessarily, but people are now really changing their situations. Many people throughout the world are changing their situations, their locations where they're living, where they're raising their families, or saving their wealth, as an example.
You're right.
And so we'll dive in from this perspective. First of all, could you give us a kind of a bird's eye view into the current situation with the ruble? Everybody's telling us it's going to dive off the cliff any day now, and somehow it's right now, even as we speak, it's getting stronger.
Well, as a high-level view, we personally believe, and by the way, we don't do investment advice, but we can have an opinion. I personally believe that ruble is at least 30 to 40% undervalued. By 2030, we're going to see ruble to dollar at about 30 ruble to $1 level.
Wow.
And I can back it up with a lot of comments and actually credible statistics. But in essence, ruble is an undervalued currency that's going to go even stronger, while dollar is, unfortunately, an overvalued currency that's going to be weaker as the time goes by.
Interesting. Okay. And I think for our guests, because again, we hear all these kind of things on social media.
Of course.
That everything is falling apart over here, and we won't dive into the details of what everybody says every day, but the point is that a lot of people are thinking that this economy is weak.
Well, let's look into it, right?
Yeah.
The first thing you have to realize that economy can be measured in so-called total value of its product. You probably heard about something that is called the GDP.
Of course.
Gross domestic product, right? Now, there's two measures to it. There is a nominal way of measuring it, and this is by going by the actual current exchange rate. And by the current exchange rate, the Russian economy is on the size of about $2.2, $2.5 trillion, which is about the same size as Italy. Not very impressive, right? I mean, Italy is a very impressive country, but it's not impressive from the size of its economy.
Yeah.
Now, there's another way of measuring a country, and that is by going by the purchasing parity of the actual, what you can get for those rubles, right? Because the actual currency, it's one thing, but it's essentially what you can get. How much energy, how much meat, how much gasoline, right? How much metal, how much gold can you get for those rubles? You probably noticed that you can actually kind of, if you have $2,000 in Russia, you have a much more spending power than if you have $2,000 in US.
That's true.
Well, that's the purchasing power parity that is working. So, by the purchasing power parity calculations, and this is a measure done by the World Bank and IMF, so this is not Russian statistics. The Russian economy is $7.1, $7.2 trillion, the fourth largest economy in the world. Largest economy in Europe.
Wow.
And that's saying something. Now, remember I told you that ruble is undervalued, right?
Yes.
Well, here's the simple math. Nominal value of the economy, 2.2, 2.5 trillion, roughly. Purchasing power parity, 7.5. So that means that when you actually get your funds into Russia, your funds are buying much more energy, meat, and anything else. So that means the Russian ruble is undervalued from that point of view.
Yes.
And it's going to slowly become appreciative. Now, there are other economies out there that essentially have an overvalued currency. For example, US. A lot of people judge US dollars of being overvalued versus its fair value. Now, it has something to do with the fact that US dollar is viewed as a reserve currency for the world. So there's a lot of demand out there for it. Unfortunately, as we see right now, and I think that's a lot of what our clients actually are seeing, that the music has stopped. And faith in US as a reserve currency is disappearing.
That's true. probably a month ago now, maybe 6 weeks ago now, we had this the gala dinner, the very private
Yeah.
dinner with your Tim Cook and your Zuckerberg and your
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
As far as many conservatives are concerned,
Yeah.
in the United States, kind of the enemies of mankind,
Yeah.
at dinner.
Yeah.
And what's going to come of that? Do you think anything's going to come out of that?
Well, if you think about it, first and foremost, consider the political, I would say, numbness of having kind of a dinner with the Great Gatsby style just before the Great Depression, right? At Mar-a-Lago. You have to realize that all those guys that you mentioned, right, they are part of people that made the money on a global economy, right?
Yes.
That's not going to happen anymore. We are going through a period where we're going to come into a period where, especially U.S. sooner or later, is going to come into the period of reindustrialization, and that's going to take at least 20, 30 years, at least, if you're going to do it for real.
Yes.
And during that time, all the trade and all the kind of opportunities are going to go much more towards Asia. And China, that is right now the manufacturing kind of center of the world. China today accounts for about 20% of the total world economy. In nominal terms, it's, again, smaller than US. But when you talk about the real things they produce, they actually, Chinese economy, by the World Bank and IMF, that's official statistics, is already 30% larger than the US economy.
30%.
Yes.
So
30.
purchasing parity
Yeah.
by IMF
Yes.
statistics is
Yes.
30% larger than the United States.
It's just that no U.S. official will ever mention it. I mean, you can just, I can send you the link. You can go into the IMF World Bank.
Oh
It's there.
my gosh. Okay, so the supposed CCP is outpacing the United States.
This was old news since 5-10 years ago in the circles that we work with. So it's like, you have one story for the general public.
Yeah.
But everybody in the know already are in the know.
Already in the know.
Of course.
And we're always the last people. Always the
Yeah,
layman.
I mean, you don't want to have the people upset about things. You tell them it's the greatest economy in the world.
Yep, every day.
Yeah.
Every
because
day.
somebody has to hold the... Actually, one of the best measures of economic activities is actually not GDP. Because GDP is a very false measure. The reason for it is that all the economic activities is getting measured in the GDP. The other way of measuring economic activities is through electricity use. Not a lot of people know it, but this is quite obvious and logical, right? Electricity is actually the lifeblood of the modern economy.
True.
That's what's really is kind of pumping the whole thing. Right? Before it was kind of labor force, right?
Yeah, right.
The Roman Empire was built on slaves.
Yeah.
Right?
A different kind of electricity.
Exactly. Christianity originally.
Of course.
But electricity use, and if you look at electricity use, for example, Chinese kind of electricity use per capita or per person have already surpassed the level of Germany, UK, and many of the European countries. So China is producing, kind of consuming more electricity than, for example, Germany. Germany and United Kingdom and France are all going down. Russia is, of course, above China and above all the European one. US is still quite high, but kind of catching up. And if you look at the kind of electricity production in Africa, it's still very small per capita because they don't have any generation power. So this is why it's so crucial to invest in the energy production facilities there, nuclear, hydropower plants, any kind of power plants, because that's kind of, this is the groundworks of getting your industry up and running.
So I have to ask the obvious question
Yeah.
then. If you go into this store of 104 golden
Yeah.
visas
Yeah.
and you have this language requirement on there, are there any more attractive golden visas than what Russia has to offer?
Well, I think if we remove the language, Russia is going to be one of the most attractive, if not the most attractive. But the language is such a limiting kind of factor in that sense. Right now, I can tell you the most popular visa in the world right now is Portuguese golden visa. Guess who is the number one buyer? There's a little country called the New World.
The Americans.
Of course.
Americans. Okay.
Americans are going for the golden visa.
Golden
like
visa
there's
there.
no tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
In Portugal, because they're thinking, well, we need to get out of here. We need to go to where Europe, right there, like the closest country. So it's like Columbus reverse.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So Canada is one or Portugal is one?
So I think the more of a conservatives ones are going for the Portugal.
Okay.
There's also, I think, a very nice product there with the Hungary.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other opportunities there as well. Greece, there's Middle East, so there's a lot of different out there. But if you think about where you want to kind of be strategically long term, a lot of our clients that first and foremost coming over for investment opportunities, they say, hey, we want our headquarters to be in Russia because we can be close to the West, we can be very close to Asia, we can be close to kind of in the middle of the so-called world island, right? And people that have been to Moscow, I mean, a lot of people think that this is one of the best cities in the world, notwithstanding the weather.
Yeah, notwithstanding. Absolutely.
But we have like entrepreneurs that are moved from U.S. Silicon Valley. They absolutely love it. People that moved from London, from New York, from Miami, Florida, very safe, absolutely love it. So it's a great place to. Russia, of the top 10 economies in the world, being the fourth largest, has the lowest external debt of all the countries. So the debt to GDP ratio is on the 16% level, 16. So it's about 312 billion US dollars. While the Russian golden reserves are currently valued at 700 billion US dollars already.
Oh, wow.
With the latest. So Russia can essentially sell the gold and for just half of that price pay all its debt. It's one of the stablest economies at all. And this is why being on the kind of all the sanctions from hell was like 20,000, 30,000. I don't think people are even counting. And still running only 3% deficit. Budget deficit is only 3%. 3% is nothing. So you have a country that has almost no debt, very stable financial situation, and when things are going to be rocking about, I think Russia is going to come out of the gates just running because it's going to be lots of investment that needs to be done in Eurasia. Lots of capital need to be applied, lots of growth that's going to happen in Asia. So,
all right, I'm looking at this in kind of, well, we have the Chinese over on one side, and let's just say we have the Chinese and the Indians over here.
Yeah.
Then we have Russia.
Yeah.
Then we have Europe.
Yeah.
And then we have the United States.
Yeah.
Who blinks first?
In terms of what?
In terms of economies failing?
I don't think it's about blinking first. It's about imagine it's more towards a dry forest and a forest fire. And it's more towards how many problems can you handle at the same time. So think about that. If you think about UK, the forest is bone dry. Any spark. And you might try to kind of one spark there. Sooner or later, you will not be able to kind of take care of all the sparks. There's not a lot of firemen.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You're done for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fire. US, maybe not as dry, but still very dryish. Russia, it's very rainy. Everything is taken care of, right?
Yes,
you
right.
can just kind of pay down everything with gold reserved. There is no point of spark somewhere. Like there is nothing to kind of get hold of, right? And China, economy-wise, well, they have, let's say it like this. The trade war, usually they say that there's a trade war and then China is an exporting economy and US is an importing economy. So China is going to be worse off if US is suddenly stop buying Chinese products. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, if China was to export 100% of its products to US and US suddenly is saying, we're not going to buy from you anymore, then all the Chinese industry stops, everybody is unemployed, and like there's a big problem.
Right.
The thing is that China is only selling about 2% of its export to U.S.
2% right now.
Yes.
Wow, I thought it was much higher.
No.
It's not that anymore.
Yeah. So
Because it's been transferred to India then.
they thought about this long ago and already kind of recalibrated everything else, right? So, well, I mean, you probably can handle the 2% fall in your total exports. And you can't do that.
Wow. You know, it was very communist of them, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's why not?
No, I mean, you know, there's a like this conversation, right? We walk up in the United States. We walk up our Republican, what do you want to call them, dummies, Lindsey Graham and such,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, well, this on the Communist Party, the Chinese Communist Party. And I'm like, wow, they actually turned out to be quite better capitalists, it seems, than we did. So, Ilya, you've really painted a fairly grim picture, but I think that there are very few people that I follow on a regular basis, whether that be American commentators, European commentators, Russian commentators, who seem to have a firm grounding in the reality of the situation, that would disagree with what you've said. I think it's pretty straightforward right now that people know the bad time is coming. I think a lot of people are you know.
I think you can almost like when you are in US and when you are in Europe, you can feel it in the air. Like this, people can like understand it on a non-verbal basis.
Yeah.
I know if you can notice things or not, but it's like there is not a lot. It's like it's damp air when you're going around London, right? Like you don't see a lot of people that are very happy that are going around.
Let's flip that around and give some good news, maybe some opportunities. Let's talk a little bit about what you're doing with movetorussia.com.
Yeah.
And kind of what are some of the really great opportunities that you see out there inside of Russia right now that you're working on with clients, just kind of in general, like what's some of the vehicles, what's some of the opportunities?
I think the first kind of good news is that regardless of what you can have heard, it's possible to get funds into Russia legally. Ask us how.
Okay.
And there's certainly, once you got the funds into Russia, one of the easiest thing you can do, just buy Russian government debt, and the official interest rate is 15%. We have just people that are coming over there, just taking it. I mean, they're not even investing in anything risky, just Russian government debt, right? And then you get 15% interest rate, right? Wonderful. Or, as the cost of capital is quite high, one of my good acquaintances, she is actually a Harvard girl, U.S. American, and she runs a venture capitalist fund in Russia. She's absolutely killing it. Because of all the actual companies that exit Russia from an internet perspective. And she's investing in capital in those kind of different startups for peanuts valuations compared to US. And they are exposed to this wonderful market and they're growing. You have Russian programmers and everything else. So she's having the best time of the world. She doesn't tell anybody in America about it. Because I'm not telling the people there. And it's all fun. So she's very gritty in that sense.
Oh my.
That's actually the venture capitalist, I would say, opportunity. It's still, the industry is still very young. Extremely interesting, very interesting. Lots of things to do, lots of things to work with, and especially if you can also utilize that wonderful ingenuity that is based on the Russian education and then kind of work with the product and getting out in India, China, kind of the larger market. Extremely interesting possibilities there. Of course, you can invest in real estate. My personal, I would say, favorite is going to be probably the Far East. from the point of real estate prices in Moscow, I think you've seen that it's rising, ever rising. And it's not the end of it, unfortunately, because a lot of capital from the former Russians that moved out, they're coming back in as well, right? So Moscow is getting bought up, but I would, from the absolute perspective, probably invest in Vladivostok and all those things. The Far Eastern ports and the Far Eastern region, lots of money is coming in, both from the Russian perspective, but also from the Chinese perspective. So the whole Far East infrastructure, it's going to be a biggest, I think, building boom in the next 2 or 3 decades. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right?
That's right.
So the opportunity is there, and I think that as long as, and I think this is a recurring theme from a lot of you guests, well, don't believe us, don't believe the media, don't believe everything, kind of just take your time and just visit for 5 days, right?
Yes.
See for yourself, right? And see how you like it or not. But I think my bottom line is at least start to think of a plan B for you and your family. It might not be Russia because maybe it's too cold for you or something like that, right? By the way, Russia is not cold. You've been here in the summer. Great summer. But think of the future from the point of that we are going through a transition, economical, that we haven't seen in a lifetime. So you haven't been alive for something that grand that's going to happen.
It's true. It's very true.
And appreciate the gravity of it, appreciate of the calamity that's going to come. And unfortunately, we don't choose the times when we live, but at least we can choose how we act in the times that we live. And you don't have to be in the middle of the storm. You can take your family somewhere safe while the storm is raging.
Great words. Fantastic advice. Great insight. Thank you so much, Ilya. I really appreciate you coming down to the studio here and having this conversation with us.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for having me.
Thank you, Ilya Belobragin, for another interesting interview. If you want to learn more about these topics, you should definitely check him out at movetorussia.com. There will also be an interview full length in the description. We had to condense this yet again. There is a lot of things that were packed into this particular interview. So stay tuned on Russia Up Close to see the full interview posted later on this topic. I found it very, very interesting. And like I said, there's a lot of numbers there, but also a tremendous understanding of global economics, which is a very, very important topic right now as people are planning their futures all over the world for themselves and for their children. And now for our next interview, I'd like to introduce you to our dear friend, Guy Ames with the Bridge Club. This is going to be a very interesting interview about the very international community that lives inside of Moscow. As much as people in the West talking about this separation between the East and the West, there's an extraordinarily vibrant community here in Moscow that tells a completely different story about people still doing business between the East and the West behind the scenes here in Russia. Guy Ames. Welcome to another episode of Russia Up Close. We are here with a social entrepreneur. He's a very good and dear friend of mine, Guy Ames. Very good to see you here with us today, Guy.
It's wonderful to be here, Joe. It's a real pleasure.
You are running quite the operation in Moscow, and we're going to get into that. But first, I want to ask you a little bit about yourself. You have a tremendous amount of experience and experiences. And so I dare not ask for your complete biography, but if somehow you're able to condense that and give people a picture of where you come from, where you grew up, and your context for how you ended up in Russia.
Well, absolutely. It's a long story, but to keep it really short. So I was born in the UK, brought up in the UK, but always with a very international sort of background. So my mum taught French and Italian, so we went on lots of school exchanges, and I was always traveling. And probably from the age of 17, 18, I've spent probably 80, 90% of my life abroad. So I've lived in 6 different countries, lived and worked in 6 different countries. And it just so happened that Russia seems to be my sort of absolute favorite country of all the others. You know, I've lived and worked in the States, in Switzerland, in Germany, Czech Republic, Hungary, and for some reason ended up here in Russia. But I think it's not just divine intervention. I think it's the place that I really feel at home. And yeah, in my career, I've worked as a pioneer in several different industries. And that's probably the one thing which, you know, has in common with the whole of my career. So I started off in express logistics, which was something in the early 90s in Russia was something completely new. The idea that you could just pick the phone up and, you know, your item would be picked up and then delivered either within the city or internationally within a short period of time. That was something completely revolutionary. It was only until then available to maybe some sort of party members or some sort of, you know, top officials. And then I moved on to work in telecoms. I was one of the pioneers in Russia and in Eastern Europe in mobile telecoms and then in the internet. I was the commercial director of Delta Telecom in St. Petersburg, which is one of Russia's first mobile phone companies. I think even President Putin and many of the government members, that was their first telephone was from Delta Telecom, and I was the commercial director at the time. Exactly. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then later I moved on to innovation in construction. Basically, we opened the Russian Green Building Council, which I was the chair of for some time. And so that's another world of innovation in construction and sustainability, anything to do with energy saving or better indoor air quality. That was me for many years. And now I've moved on to this, let's say, migration, you know, this area of migration, people moving to Russia. So yeah, the common thread is something that's always new and pioneering and keeps me on my toes.
Wow. Okay, now tell us a little bit about this migration. Obviously, we have had discussions with many people here about the president's 702 decree, but as I would understand, maybe I'm hazarding a bit of a guess here, but you've been involved in such migration before the 702 decree.
Well, I've moved in and out of Russia several times, but in the last time was in 2021, where basically we sold out our house in the UK and we moved everything with my Russian wife. We moved everything to Russia, and I managed to get this VNG, you know, the residence permit, and I'm on my way now to getting citizenship. So I think I visited Sakharova, you know, the wonderful Sakharova, at least 20 times. You know, so
God bless you.
I know almost every building there. You know, it's amazing. And they tell me, you can't go here. And I go, yeah, I can. You just ask for this, and then they give you a ticket, and then you go in and get your lunch. Or here you can do the photocopying faster. Or you know, over there you can, you know, get some consultation on this, whatever.
Adding some efficiency to perhaps Russia bureaucracy.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you always have to adapt in Russia, right?
Yes.
There's a thick bureaucracy here, but there are always ways around that.
Yes.
There are always ways to move forward.
Yes. I was at my first job here in Russia. I remember speaking to my CTO, and I'm like, I really want to get into how Russians do things, like Russian business particularly. This is my first job in Russia. How does Russian business work? And he said, like this. Like it's adapting. It's adapting. Yeah,
constantly.
Yeah,
every day. You know,
yes.
Wake up in the morning. So Russians are always going to be internationally really successful in business because they can adapt to the most crazy, unbelievable circumstances very quickly.
Can you explain to our audience what the format of the Bridge Club is? So traditionally, what we've done is we meet once a month. Usually it's on a Thursday, Friday evening, so around 6, 7 o'clock, so after work. And we register all of the guests. People have to like apply in advance and register in advance. When they arrive, they get a welcome drink. There's maybe a half an hour of sort of networking when they're talking with each other, meeting new people. You very rarely see anyone sitting in the corner not talking to somebody. If that happens, we'll grab them and introduce them to people. And then we sit down and we listen to a few presentations, like 2 or 3 speakers. It's usually actually three speakers on a particular topic. Because the idea of the bridge is to build bridges to new communities. And so the 2 or 3 speakers who speak for 5 to 10 minutes each will
talk about a certain aspect of that topic which we have for that month, and that really gives us some sort of substance, something really interesting.
Yes.
Most people learn something new.
Yes.
We try and open up these new sort of worlds for our community, and then after that we have food and drinks, and there's lots more networking goes on, and we have one supplier, wine supplier, who supplies us with lots of really nice wine, and we have different types of food, as you also mentioned.
Yes.
And then around 10 o'clock, we try and kick everybody out of the venue and tidy up and think what went right, what went wrong. And at the same time, we also interview some of our guests, and we interview some of the speakers. So at the end, we have a Telegram channel where lots of information about the event. Especially if you couldn't attend it, you can see all the photos and a few little interviews. If you couldn't attend it, and then we get ready for the next event. The next month. Yeah.
What are kind of some of the interesting kinds of people that you might meet at the Bridge Club?
Well, it's a real diversity. We have entrepreneurs who we think are particularly interesting people who've opened companies here, hiring people in different walks of life. So some of them are manufacturers, some of them run media outlets, some of them are importers, some lawyers, etc. So we have this group of entrepreneurs. Then we also have a few people running charities, which is interesting. We have a lot of English teachers, surprise, surprise, sort of foreigners who have decided to teach English. We have a lot of professional people working in different industries as employees. People from different countries. We try not to be, some people refer to us as like the English club, because it just so happens that I'm from the UK, Michael Gibson's from the UK, and now we have Philip Hutchinson, who's also from the UK.
Yes.
But we go out of our way to bring also people from other countries across Europe, so from France, from the States, from India, I think we have a few Chinese, Singaporeans. We probably have around 20 nationalities all
Wow.
together. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. This is an interesting segue into something that I have asked other of our guests. The kind of people who are successful in Russia. In your opinion and your experience, where do you find are the people who end up becoming the most successful here? And success doesn't mean that you became a multimillionaire, right? But necessarily, obviously, of course, everybody would love that. But the people who really took root inside of Russia.
So I think the simple answer to that, foreigners have been coming to Russia for hundreds of years. And they're all pretty similar. The ones today and the ones 100 years ago, 200 years ago, they're similar. In Russian, they have this amazing word, avanturist. I mean, someone who's like an adventurer. In Russian, it's slightly different connotation to just an adventurer. It's someone who's ready to take risks, who is looking for the next horizons, who's really ready to do something new.
Yes.
And so I would say most people who come to Russia who are successful are these avanturisti, people who are really looking for some amazing opportunities. And Russia is the land of opportunities. So you see people who they'll find a niche in the market, and all on the Western news they're saying, "Don't go to Russia. That's a scary place. Bears everywhere. You're going to get caught by the KGB or whatever." And so they disregard all that.
Yeah.
They come here, they find their niche, and they start working in that niche. Whether it's making cheese, or if it's working as an interpreter, or whether it's working in a school, because a lot of the international schools, they really need native speakers, whether it's just running your own business, or building your own house here, or setting up a family. There are lots of opportunities, but they're all like adventurous people who are ready to do something new.
Have you done much traveling inside of Russia?
I have. I've even lived in different cities. So I lived on the Volga in Saratov for a couple of years.
Okay.
We got married in St. Petersburg in a cathedral. So that was many years ago, 30 years ago. We got married in a cathedral in the middle of St. Petersburg. It's a fantastic city.
The Kazansky Cathedral.
It was actually the Preobrazhensky Cathedral.
Okay.
It's just off Nevsky Prospect.
Okay.
And it's just an incredible cathedral. We went back there, celebrated our 30th anniversary. and we even had a little service there. They gave us a special service.
Wow.
And, they also published an article in their church magazine, though, which is very
That's
nice.
amazing. So you just like exchange your vows again, like renew the
Exactly.
ceremony.
They have a special ceremony they do.
Wow.
Apart from that, I've also lived in Siberia for a year, many years ago. So in Irkutsk. And I love traveling. And with my sustainability, this Russian Green Building Council, I was invited to speak across the whole country. So I've been to Sochi probably 20 times. So when I've spoken there, I was involved in also the Olympics, setting up the buildings there, the sustainability aspects. I've been to Russia's sort of far north. I've been to Murmansk. I've been to Sakhalin. I've
been to Sakhalin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Vladivostok many times, and all the Black Sea, the Urals I go to regularly. So yeah, I'm a regular traveler around Russia.
Magnificent. What outside of Moscow? Obviously, you chose to be here, but there's a lot of people online like, I love this comment that people are like, well, yeah, I mean, of course it's Moscow, of course it's going to be great, I'm like, okay, fine, yeah, New York City isn't that great, but anyways, let's put that aside. You've seen the real Russia, right? The rest of Russia, of what everybody says that Moscow isn't.
Absolutely. We even drove 2 years ago. We even drove to the Chinese border. We drove through.
You drove to the Chinese border?
Yeah, so we drove basically to Tatarstan, to Kazan.
Yeah.
Then we went south to Orenburg. We crossed the Kazakh border. We spent 3 days driving through the desert in West Kazakhstan. We entered Kyrgyzstan. We drove through Kyrgyzstan and then went back through Kazakhstan to just by the Chinese border, and then drove all the way back to Russia again, to Moscow.
Wow.
In our Chinese-made Jeep.
Wow.
Chinese-made car.
The tank?
It's not the tank, it's the Haval.
The Haval.
They're assembled here.
Yes.
Fantastic cars. They are sort of distant relative of the Volvo sort of family, because I think they bought Volvo as well, the Chinese Great Wall manufacturer, I believe they're called.
Okay.
And it's a great car. It's really good, yeah.
Interesting. Wow. And they're actually quite reasonable, as I understand, right?
They're very well priced. We were looking at, my wife dreamed about buying one of these high-end Range Rovers. And I was always explaining to her that it's just like, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we might not, want to invest in that just now.
Just now, yeah.
And when we found this Haval, it ticks pretty much all the boxes that the high-end Range Rovers tick as well. It's maybe not quite as sort of classy, or it's not it's not got a sort of 5-liter engine or something.
Yeah.
But it goes really well, and it's it's got heated seats, and it's it's cool car, automatic, and it's got all these amazing features that you would expect on a high-end vehicle.
That's amazing. What is your favorite place in Russia outside of Moscow and St. Petersburg?
That's a difficult question because I travel so much. But definitely Kazan is a really amazing city. If someone's not been to to Kazan, they should go to Kazan. Nizhny Novgorod I also very like. It's a sort of amazing, very diverse place with a Volga River, and it has good food. And I just like that as a town. I think the Volga generally is very interesting.
Yes.
Foreigners over the last few hundred years, lots of them are settled on the Volga, and that's because the climate is very good, and it just has a lot of advantages. Apart from those two places, I quite like Tula and the Tula region, because that's where my wife's from, and we go there regularly, and a lot of things I've sort of got used to.
You threw that in for your wife, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You have to. Right?
All right.
Yeah, and some of the smaller cities are really nice as well,
Yeah.
If people are from a small town and they're thinking moving to Russia and they don't want to live in a huge city, places like Yaroslavl, very, very nice cities.
Yes.
And even Sergiev Posad is a really nice place. And these places are quite close to Moscow, so you could live there, enjoy the lifestyle there. There's pretty much everything is available there. They even have like big supermarkets and things. And you can order anything online. And if you want to come to the big city lights, you can jump on a train and come into Moscow, and a couple hours later, here you are. Yeah.
It's very, very true. That's actually a great point that you bring up, because I need to get the certificate for a large family. I've been here for now 2 years, and I still don't have this certificate, because I need to go get this.
You do need to get that.
Yeah.
We had that, and we have 3 children. Not as many as you, but 3 is a good start.
Yes.
And for many years, we could ride free on the public transport. We had this little pass. And with the little children, we also got free milk in the mornings. They get that's milk and tvorog, there's different milk products.
Okay.
And I would be sent out as the dad in the mornings, at 7 o'clock in the morning, to pick up all this little sort of free package of goodies for the children. And these are like sort of organic, they're really good quality stuff. If you're not getting those, you should be.
Do you offer services or anything like this that could help somebody like me try to get one of these?
I think so. We've done all sorts of things for people moving to Russia. We were looking after their cats in like cat areas, where they want to put them up in a cat hotel. And the cat hotel even has different types of rooms. They have like sort of a standard room or like a luxe room, and they have different types of food options for the cats. We help people in their registration, because a lot of the landlords don't want to register people, so we help in that process. We help people buy apartments, all sorts of things. This is the business we're doing with Philip Hutchinson. This Moscow Connect.
Okay, got it. Very, very cool.
So definitely we can help you, and of course I would help you just for free in this case, because
thank you.
You're needy family.
I am needy. That's for sure. In more ways than one. More ways than one.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of thing that's incredible about Russia. It's that, and I've said it before. I said it very soon after I got here, and I've been saying it for the last 2 years, that Russians treat children like gold, and it's a really beautiful, heartwarming thing.
Exactly. These family values and traditional values for me are so important in Russia. The way that they're treating families, also so many other positive things like respect for elders, for older people, getting up for people and giving their seat on the public transport, opening doors for people. So many of these things, classic literature, learning from the past, really understanding history, understanding sciences, understanding maths, this whole idea of life learning, that people should be learning and they should respect others and listen to their knowledge about things. It's so rare in the West. One of our ministers in the UK said that we don't do maths in the UK. I mean, how stupid can you get? If you're not doing maths, then, where are we going? The average Russian person has read more English classic books than an English person. The education system is so much better here.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, really. That's one of the other reasons why we live here, for the education.
That's amazing. No maths, but we'll definitely teach you about how the British Empire pressed the world.
Exactly, and how great we are, and how tomorrow we could go out and, send forces to, the Ukraine or across the world in some faraway place, which we've nothing to do with. Why on earth English soldiers should go to those countries when they're not defending our borders? We have crazy numbers of illegal migrants just arriving in the UK every day, and our military doing nothing to protect our borders.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah. No.
Keep away from politics, I guess,
yes.
in our interviews. Yeah.
Well,
sorry about that.
No. Look, we talk about everything here. I mean, high and low and under and over. This is the point, that people should get really authentic view of who's here, Russians or not Russians. I mean, and we all coexist here in very good peace, and it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, and we respect people. So, but we don't do crazy things like, with all this gender problems we have in the West.
Yeah.
Here there's the men and the women. Okay, there's some, maybe a few, homosexuals or a few whatever, but that's a limited number. Whereas in the West, it's like you have all these strange trans people running around.
Yeah.
Guys wearing women's clothes, and children exposed to that, and all sorts of things which I just think are just deprived, really. Why on earth would you want to do that?
Yeah.
You've definitely crossed a red line.
Yeah.
You're just doing something really satanic, really, for me. That's one of the other reasons I live here. We don't have any of that ridiculous sort of wokeness here.
Yeah, no. I saw a picture of a LGBT flag the other day, and that somebody was like, showing a picture of it, and I just said, imagine being in my shoes, and I haven't seen a LGBT flag in person for almost exactly 2 years.
It's really great. Just recently, friends of ours brought some Marmites. In England, we have this stuff called Marmite. If your wife's Australian, she probably knows. I think in the States it's something similar. So you have Marmite and you have Vitamite or something very similar to that.
Vegemite.
Vegemite. That's the one, yeah.
Vegemite.
So it's this black stuff in a little jar.
Yeah.
And we English people, we just can't live without them. Well, either you love it or you hate it. But if
Right.
you love it, you can't live without it.
Yes.
And you can get it here actually online, but it's just crazy expensive. It's like $30 for a little jar,
Yeah.
which in England would cost like £1 or £2 or something.
Yeah.
And so recently, friends brought some back. They brought this big jar, but they said we have to apologize. It's like a gay Marmite, so it's got the LGBT colors on it, and it's got Elton John's face on it.
Oh no!
And it's like sort of for gay rights or something.
And you're like, can I live without it?
Well,
Get it into a different jar or something.
They said, don't worry, it tastes the same.
It tastes the same.
It's the same as a normal Marmite, but
Okay.
it's got these sort of gay colors on it. So I'm sure you couldn't sell that in Russia because there's a
No.
law against that.
Right.
If a young person saw that, they would be, they could actually sue you for selling that. To you,
Yeah.
But it tastes the same.
Beautiful. It tastes the same. Take the
I can guarantee you. I would
wrapper
try.
off or something.
Yeah, maybe to just steam it off. And
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Guy, what a real pleasure. It's always a pleasure, actually, to meet you. And I'm so very glad that you came on the show today with us. This was really always a good experience. And I really hope that anybody who's even just wants to visit Russia will come and stop in to your great bridge events and see all of these people who are really enjoying their life, their experience, their business, whatever it is here in Russia. Thank you so much for doing this. You've done a tremendous service, not only to foreigners in Russia, but I believe to Russia itself. Real tribute.
thank you so much, Joe. It's been a real pleasure. I could talk for hours about Russia, and it's great that we're building these bridges. So it's also exposing this foreign community to lots of different communities here in Russia, and building these bridges between the foreigners and many Russians who have never met foreigners and not really had much to do with them, which is also a real pleasure.
Yep, absolutely, Guy. And, most of us, we just want to live our lives.
Absolutely.
Leave us alone and live our lives. And
Exactly.
you promote this very, very well through all of your events. Thank you so much,
you.
Guy.
We're proud of it. We're proud of living here, and it's a wonderful country here. Thank you very much, Joe. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Guy. I always love having a conversation with Guy. He's a good friend and a gentleman, and his organization, the Bridge Club, is truly a place, if you are visiting Moscow or moving to Moscow, you should definitely connect with. If you just want to have an idea of what's going on behind the scenes, you can always check them out on their Telegram channel, the Bridge Club. It's a tremendous place to visit.
Wow, what an amazing round of interviews for episode 5, which is now in the can.
Amen. Amen.
Amen to that.
Who did you think was the best?
Oh, why do we have to make everything a competition?
Okay, fine.
Actually, they're all my favorites because they all gave very interesting information that hopefully you, our viewers, did not know, and hopefully you gained some information about this. But if you're asking maybe which interview might have been my favorite, I have to go with my buddy Tofurious Crane, because every time I get together with Tofurious, it is nonstop laughter.
That's a fact.
He's a clown, but he's a serious clown.
Yeah.
Especially when needed. And he's doing some very important work here in Russia. He came here as a journalist to cover the SMO, and he decided this is where he wants to stay. And now he's traveling around Russia, doing all these cool videos and travel videos and stuff, and it's just amazing. But every time we get together, it's nonstop laughter.
Barrel of laughs. Oh, I can't wait to cut all the bloopers out of this thing for the end of this season.
They're coming.
They are coming. Don't forget to check out Tofurious's new show, Curious Tofurious. I tell you what, Curious George ain't got nothing on Curious Tofurious.
That's true.
I really enjoyed speaking with Ilya Belobragin from MoveToRussia.com. Wow, he's got a bead on the economic situation, and I might say that let's not call him a prophet, but he's definitely got a good head on his shoulders and is able to have a really clear vision of the future, as is his responsibility for protecting people's investments and seeing what's coming down the pike, having a solid understanding of what laws are being considered and written and so on and so forth, so we could actually be able to see multipolar economy is going to look like. He's an amazing resource. You should definitely check him out at MoveToRussia.com.
I'd like to add to your comments about Ilya, because I listened so intently to everything he had to say, and I can tell you that I learned so much from his interview, and I hope you did too. Write down in the comments what your thoughts are on all of our guests, but I'd really like to know what you think of Ilya and some of his some of the wonderful things he had to say about the future.
Absolutely. Well, and don't forget about Guy.
And Guy,
Yep.
yes.
We've both known Guy for some time now. He's running an amazing operation. If you ever come to Moscow and you want a quick insert, a quick peek into the scene, the international scene specifically, of what's going on in Moscow, you definitely need to check out the Bridge Club in Moscow. He's a scholar and a gentleman. Really enjoy speaking with him. Absolutely.
Consummate gentleman. Just a pleasure to be around, pleasure to be with, and you need to go to the Bridge Club.
And don't forget, these again are very condensed versions of full interviews. And we will be publishing these in the next month and a half, throughout this period of time, scattered throughout, so that you can actually get a more in-depth understanding of these various topics that they're talking about very quickly, I might add, in very quick successions.
Absolutely.
So make sure to tune in to Russia Up Close and check out these new interviews as we continue to release Russia Up Close, episode 6, coming at you next week.
Coming very soon.
Looking forward to it. See you then.
До свидания.